Welcome back to the Armchair Fantasy Football Podcast, the working class podcast. We are the Blue Collar Ballers, John and DJ. I don't have my laptop because I'm an idiot, so I really don't. I'm not prepared for the intro, so we're just going to make it abbreviated today, John. How was your week 8?
Not too shabby.
Yeah, I saw you won by the skin of your teeth once again in the Keeper League.
It's not over yet. He still has Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not counting my eggs before they hatch.
I think it's count your chickens before they hatch.
Either way.
But I guess that makes sense, too.
I'm still not going to count either way.
It doesn't really make sense.
One other league, yes, I'm good in.
Yeah.
And then my Dynasty, and then my Tag League, it all depends on...
Our Tag League.
Our Tag League.
We're doing this together.
You have Juju on your keeper team.
I do, indeed. I've already won, thanks to the...
So then we can pray for Juju to get 0.
Thanks to the incomparable Aaron Rodgers. No, I don't want 0 from Juju, because I'm still not losing hope on Roto in that league. So yeah, I had a fun week 8. Kind of fun. It just... Fantasy football gives me anxiety a lot more than it should, John. It really does. We have 7-man rosters, starting rosters, in our leagues. Well, in our tag league and our keeper league. And I had 5 guys. Leonard Fournette, he good. Josh Jacobs, he good. Tyler Boyd, he good. George Kittle, he really good. And it was National Tight End Day. Nobody told Jimmy Garoppolo that, unfortunately. And who else did I have out there, John? Help me out. Marvitron. I had Marvitron out there. He pretty good. Not one touchdown from any of those guys. I had made a comment to John during the second slate of games that there had been, to that point, 57 touchdowns thrown. 58. And this was during the 4 o'clock slate. So it's not the conclusion, but probably more than that. Let's say 60 touchdowns by the end of the 4 o'clock games, John. And my players that were in my lineup during that time frame got 0 of those.
It's been a strange year. Strange year for TDs.
Zip.
So a perfect example of that
Nothing.
is Leonard Fournette so far has 198 touches. His volume's great. His targets are great,
awesome.
But he has 1 TD.
1 touchdown.
So 1
touchdown. Do you know, John, that I literally prayed to God that Aaron Rodgers scored touchdowns last night? I am having to pray, not on my knees, but pray, still counts, for touchdowns. And I'm doing pretty good in that league.
You are.
That league is like everybody's 4-4 in that league.
Well, me in that league is every time I start somebody hurt, somebody who's been on fire, they go down. Or I shouldn't say go down, they just don't do well.
Well, that's your problem, John. I'm talking about my problems.
I played the matchup.
I'm channeling my inner millennial right now and worrying about myself only. And thank God Aaron Rodgers did what he is once again a bad man.
Yeah, but so
back.
I follow your advice. I get a starter, I get the handcuff. Ugh, they're both out.
Well, I can't control that. You better go trade for Kenyon Drake. I bet he's in the news today.
No, I'm not getting Kenyon Drake.
But no, I went 3 for 3 this week. Believe it or not, guys, we are hosts of a fantasy football podcast, but I only have 3 leagues. 3 leagues.
Last year, what did I do, 8?
We were both up there. You were way up there last year. We were both up there. So I was talking to my buddy John Parvin. You know John Parvin?
Yep.
He's my boss. And John he wanted to make sure that we were prepared today for our listeners. So he wanted to make sure that we knew that Jared Goff sucks. So he wanted to make sure that we were prepared. He's like, just make sure you tell them that Jared Goff sucks.
Well, the interesting stat to Goff was he was on the road. I know there's a neutral field, but it was still on the road. He sucks on the road.
Yeah.
It's a known stat.
I think he sucks in general. I honestly think John's right about that. He rifled off a few other things too.
Cooper Kupp probably, but we'll go into that more.
I don't know if it's Kupp or not. He might have mentioned Nick Chubb's really good, but he probably shouldn't fumble.
Well, one of those, granted, wasn't even his fault. It was the lineman doing Pilates on the field. I don't know why the lineman, if you saw that game, because I watched it.
Nothing is worse than we'll talk about it, nothing is worse than the Baker Mayfield quote-unquote interception. How much, 25 grand they paid him to do that?
That's what it looked like.
Do you think New England paid him about 25
It's possible.
I would probably do that for 25 gur.
He almost actually threw another pick. Gilmore dropped the other pick.
Yeah. It's funny. That game's funny, and maybe we'll jump to it when we start, but New England didn't look great.
Well, the weather conditions were horrible.
It is true.
Yeah.
But Nick Chubb was running all over there.
Oh, he was. But the problem was...
And Brady didn't look good, man. He got the touchdown because basically Mayfield gift wrapped it to him on the goal line. But New England did win. They did defeat Cleveland. Cleveland stinks. They're one of the worst team, if not the worst team in football history.
They're still the Cleveland Browns.
Nothing has changed there. You know what else was funny about this weekend, John? Did you see the Cincinnati Bengals managed to drop 3 interceptions by 3 different players in the secondary on the same exact play?
No, I did not.
So one had the interception, bounced out of his hands, flew into the hands of another corner or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's say safety. Bounced out of his hands and went into the hands of the other corner, bounced out of his hands. So they dropped 3 interceptions on the same play.
That just shows you the bad luck. We think we're having bad luck. So we're going to get into news. News is very...
It was like a Three Stooges bit.
Very minimal today. And so
hold on. We want to ask questions. We want to answer...
we'll do it after this.
All right,
We'll get the news
Everybody just stay calm.
So in news, David Johnson was listed as a did not practice today, but he is considered by Mr. Kingsbury day-to-day. Chase Edmonds did not practice as well, but Edmonds is expected to miss a few weeks with a hurt hammy.
So David Johnson is still limping.
Yes.
So he's a limp
But
Johnson.
on top of that news...
Huh?
Limp Johnson.
I mean, come on, man.
Because of the injuries due to Arizona in their backfield, Arizona traded a 6th-round conditional pick 2020 to Miami in return for Kenyon Drake, and now Mark Walton...
Is that all they
Yep.
sent? That's a steal.
Yep, Mark Walton becomes the lead back in Miami for now, but you never know if that will change, but I think he is the lead back.
So, yeah, talk to me about Mark Walton, John. Where would you put him as... Is he a flex every week start for you? Is he a situational start?
I think he's a situational start, but we also haven't seen Walton get the volume without Drake, so his numbers could be pretty decent here, but I would say play matchup at first.
Well, it's funny because I picked up Mark Walton a couple of weeks ago because
They said he jumped on the depth chart.
Well, there were talks about Drake getting traded. And I picked him up, and he got 14 carries the next week, and Drake got less than 10. And then I immediately traded him to another team in a package deal to ultimately get Marvin Jones.
Have you...
But yeah, I'm only starting Mark Walton in really good situations. That's my take on it. He could be a fantasy league winner. I just don't know if he really will be on that offense with that offensive line. You're about to say something.
Yeah, the Dolphins have just been going crazy trading, but I thought I had...
Isn't there something on Facebook where they traded the water boy or something like that?
No, it's the number of picks they have next year. I wish I could find it, but it's literally...
Well, they're going to need them all. And then some.
Yeah, they have like 2 first-rounders next year. They have 3 second-round... I mean, they have a ton of picks.
So that's great, but they really only have Xavier Howard and maybe Devontae Parker and Preston Williams. And Albert Wilson's good too. So the receivers are actually good, but they don't have... The problem is it's great to go into the draft with all those picks, but you're banking that all those picks are going to work out. And that's probably not going to happen.
I think this is a rebuild situation.
It definitely is, but they're still a few years away if they're lucky. They don't have the right quarterback, and they wasted a pick on Rosen, it looks like. I mean, they're not even playing Rosen at this point. So, on the other side of it, John...
I don't even like Drake. You don't like the Drake? Hate the Drake.
I love the Drake.
How could you not like the Drake? Who's the Drake?
Who's the Drake?
The Drake is good.
All right, what do you think of Kenyon Drake's move to Arizona?
If Edmonds and David Johnson are out, great. It
appears that Edmonds may miss a few weeks.
Yeah, and then David Johnson's going to be the... I guess what can I say? He will decide Drake's value if he plays. If he doesn't play, Drake has immediately good value because that offense is so high, so fast paced, and then the target share.
So what you're saying is Drake's value hinges on whether or not David Johnson will play
for this week.
That's what you're saying. But need I remind you, the week before, John, when we were all saying the same thing about Chase Edmonds, and homeboy hung up 35 points, even though David Johnson was active. So do you think this week, and I'm not probably starting anybody in Arizona this week, but do you think that Drake could get half of the workload? I mean,
He could get the whole work.
even with David Johnson out there, though.
I think David Johnson's their premier back. I think they just wanted insurance with Edmonds out, and I don't think they were bought into Alfred Morris or Zach Zenner, because Zach Zenner yesterday just flopped.
Yeah, and it's a shame that I was hoping to see Kenyon Drake go to the Lions, John, because I know Johnson looks like he's going to be out for a while.
Yeah, maybe possibly good.
Possibly the rest of the season. So that would have been a great opportunity for Drake. This is not as good of an opportunity, but you know what? He can do, if he is out there in a reserve fashion to bridge the gap until David Johnson's healthy. This is his opportunity to really, really get a good contract and latch on with another team.
I don't know if it's going to come this week, though. I just looked at who they're playing. I think
It's a tough. That's why I said I'm not starting anybody on that team necessarily.
they play the San Francisco 49ers. Yes,
Yeah.
we'll go into it more, but McCaffrey.
I am starting George Kittle against you, though, John. That might upset you, but Arizona does give up the absolute most points to tight ends.
I don't
So
know.
I'm happily
I
starting.
think that might have
George
changed.
Kittle.
I think they actually went to 30.
No, they're back to number one. I think.
Are they? I think
Yeah.
because I think the Bucks.
We'll see, we'll talk about
The
it
Bucks.
on the
Yeah.
on the Thursday.
Matt Ryan is expected to start week 10, and you're wondering why week 10, because they have a week 9 bye.
No, Matt Ryan played yesterday, right? He threw for over 400 yards, threw
No,
like
that was
57 passes. That
Matt
was
Shaw.
Matt Ryan. Oh, that wasn't Matt Ryan?
No.
Really? Are you sure? Because it looked like Matt Ryan out there.
Matt Shaw.
Boy, was I wrong about that
Matt
one.
Shaw played.
I told you to don't even go anywhere near that guy, and he shut me up. Congratulations.
Darius
Shaw.
Geis is on track for week 11. He's been practicing, and
I've been stashing, so
yeah, he's going to come off
him.
the pup list and will be activated. The question is with the changing in coaching there, do you think Geis will get first crack or it stays Peterson?
Well, I mean, the coaching is, it's still the same staff, kind of.
Yeah.
It's, and still the same offensive coordinator. So I don't think so. I think Geis is going to get a shot. I mean, Adrian Peterson is just wearing down. He's been very fortunate to have some good matchups as of late, John. But I don't think they really want to have Wendell Smallwood and Adrian Peterson be their one-two
No,
punch.
I think it'll be-
So I definitely think you'll see Geis get some action. My question is he no different than Mark Walton in terms of being on that offense and struggling because of being on that offense?
Possibly. I mean, I think the biggest thing there
Your
is
thoughts?
the other news that we saw that when Case Keenum's in, McLovin has a better game. And when Case Keenum came out, which he's in the concussion protocol and remains in the concussion protocol, that's the news I'm tying in, Dwayne Haskins is not good. Not good at all. And McLovin didn't even see a target after Haskins came in. And I'm scared for this offense if Haskins starts this week.
I can't imagine he will, and I think I read something where they want Keenum out there. Haskins is just, he needs to marinate for a while. You look at him in college, John, threw 50 touchdowns, and that's what everybody sees. Oh, the guy threw 50 touchdowns. But he was erratic, and his accuracy was an issue, and he made bad decisions. And that's all the same except for the 50 touchdowns.
Yeah, they
So-
would have had a better chance of starting Alex Smith this week.
Yeah, I don't know what their approach is going to be, but if they're still trying to win games, John, and they may or may not be at this point, but if they're still trying to win games, Case Keenum's the guy.
Their defense actually looks pretty solid, but I think they're getting worn
It isn't
down.
terrible, yeah.
No, they played decent against the
And frankly,
Vikings.
they have. I mean, Darius Geis. I'm telling you, John. Darius Geis is a really, really good running back, and Darius Geis would have been, I think, the number one running back in that class had Saquon Barkley not been in that class. That's my opinion. So they have him. McLovin has proven that he is a wide receiver one. I know he's struggled the last couple of weeks, but he's sometimes we forget he's a rookie, John.
Yeah.
To perform at the level that he has this year as a rookie is pretty incredible. So they've got something great in him. I mean, Jordan Reed, I think, needs to retire at this point, but they've got some good pieces on offense. They just don't have a good quarterback. So maybe they're going to tank as well, but they got some catching up to do.
They don't look like they're trying to tank. That's
I don't
the
think they
difference.
are, no.
Their defense has been playing competitive, but when you're on the field for half the time
Yeah.
and your offense does nothing, it just wears down their defense. So Like I said, I think they're just missing that focal point, which is their quarterback. Keenum gives them a chance, but it's not a great chance. They're just missing a playmaker, like a couple playmakers on offense from being elite. I mean, McLovin's a playmaker, but if you can't get him the ball, it's not going to make a difference. So, Speaking of playmakers, Marquise Brown is on track to play against the Patriots this week.
Hollywood. I think this is not only good news for Lamar Jackson, that's obvious, but I think it's good news for Mark Andrews, man. I think Mark Andrews was the focal point of the receiving game. The last game they played last week, not this past weekend, but the week before, and it didn't go too well. He had a couple fumbles, dropped passes. I mean, it just wasn't a good day for him. In his defense, that was really the first time we've seen issues like that with him. We've seen some drops from him, but nothing too major. So I think this is a good thing for Mr. Mark Andrews and obviously Lamar Jackson as well.
So Cam Newton won't start this Sunday. Rivera confirms Kyle Allen will start.
You think when we talk again tomorrow, you think he's still on the team? Cam Newton?
Oh, because the trade deadline's approaching.
I just get the feeling. I don't know. I mean, his timeline, I don't know. I don't remember what his timeline was, but I'm hearing that he's good. But then Rivera's a proven liar. Like, this guy's lied about injuries so many times.
Question, this team's winning. This was our first loss with Kyle Allen, actually. You think Cam Newton's a possible trade candidate, possibly to Washington?
That's a possibility.
Miami?
I doubt Miami. I mean, do they want to trade in the division? I mean, they obviously still think they have a chance. I don't know what their record is off the top of my head.
Who?
Carolina. I know they got beasted.
They just lost yesterday. They're actually in good shape. They are.
Yeah, because they've won.
They're 4-3. I was
gonna say, they've been winning with Allen.
They're 4-3.
So if they're winning with Allen, they think they continue to win with Allen, and I think Cam's in a contract year, but don't quote me on that either. I'm not his lawyer by any means or his agent. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if you and I sit down at this desk tomorrow and Cam Newton is wearing a different uniform. That's all I'm saying.
It's possible.
Where that is, I don't know. It's interesting to speculate. Wouldn't it be funny if he went to New England? We're going to talk about that, by the way.
What? Brady?
Yeah. We have to, my man. We have to.
What are we going to talk about? He's going to retire at some point, not like other salty Pats fans.
We have to talk about it, John, because it's newsworthy. So we're not going to talk about it a lot, but why don't we, since we broached it, why don't we talk about it now?
Okay.
So there's been a lot of talk out of Adam Schefter, a lot of speculation, not even speculation, he's pretty much guaranteed it, and then he doubled down on it, that Tom Brady is not likely to be a Patriot next year. I don't know if that will happen or not. Basically, Tom Brady will be a free agent come March 18th, March 20th, in March, let's say. He will be a free agent. They cannot franchise tag him. Did you know that?
Yep, I knew that's part of his contract.
And he's going to be free to shop around in March. There's some speculation that he doesn't want to play for Belichick anymore. How true that is, I don't know. There's some speculation that he wants a certain amount of money, given that it's his last contract. This will be his last contract. There's some speculation that there's a certain amount of years that he's looking at in terms of 3 years. And there's some speculation that Tom Brady's an egomaniac. We all know that.
You mean him putting his homes up for sale in the Boston area?
Right. And he's got the right to have a big ego. I mean, that's another factor, but there's a lot of different factors in play. But one of the other ones is the speculation that he wants to see if he can win somewhere else. And the NFL would love that narrative because that would be a potential Brady versus Belichick, and how much money would that make? And
all you hear is, when you hear the Patriots, all you think of, I should say, Kraft is irrelevant, let's be honest. I'm not going to lie.
No, because he's definitely newsworthy, but not in the right way.
Yeah.
He gets away with it.
But all you ever hear about is Brady Belichick, Brady Belichick, Brady Belichick, Belichick Brady. I mean, they're the ones who created this mastermind of a team. And it wouldn't shock me for Brady to seek out a 2-year deal, 3-year deal, maximize it, and maybe he does want to prove something here. I mean, considering the rumors that it is a free agent, he becomes a free agent. He also has always taken a pay cut, and maybe that's the one thing he wants to do before he retires is show, hey, I don't need Belichick. I'm actually good without Belichick.
Yeah.
As a Pats fan, you know what? this is something we don't prepare for him to go to another team. But this is one thing I hate being a Pats fan is that we have never, ever, ever addressed the future for quarterback.
The one time you did, Kraft traded Garoppolo. That was not signed off on by Bill Belichick. That was Kraft.
Nope, I know that.
And as far as Brady is concerned, I'm going to tell you guys right now, the chicken or the egg, is it Belichick or is it Brady? Well, I've seen Belichick suck before, John. I've seen him suck in Cleveland. He actually had a couple good seasons there, but he never won anything there. He never won anything with the Jets. He won championships on the coattails of Bill Parcells. As a head coach, Belichick's never won anything without Brady. I've never seen Tom Brady suck, ever. And that dude goes to Dallas, even with Guy Smiley, Jason Garrett there, they're going to be playing in the Super Bowl. That guy goes to San Fran, maybe. You never know. They're going to be playing in the Super Bowl. That guy could go to Miami for all we know. Probably not likely.
I doubt that.
But what if Buffalo's like, you know what? Josh Allen's just not the guy. Tom Brady goes to the Buffalo Bills. That's interesting. And so I bring it up because, not necessarily because it will happen or might happen. My gut tells me, John, that he'll be in New England next year. That's what my gut tells me. But you have to admit, Adam Schefter's pretty reputable.
He's probably one of the most reputable guys in NFL. I mean, he just always has. He gets the news first, and usually what he has is pretty well solidified, and there's a lot of truth to it. I mean, I'm not saying there's not. It's 110% truth. I mean, but he gets these rumors, and they usually. I'm not going to put any doubt on it. There's that chance, and you got to actually address that doubt there. So, I mean, I believe this could happen, but, I mean, as a Pats fan, I don't want it to happen, but you also got to remember it could happen.
Honestly, as a football fan, and probably because I'm not a Patriots fan, and as much as I would love to see him go to Dallas, I guess I don't care where he goes. It's good for the league if he goes elsewhere. The ratings are plummeting with New England in the Super Bowl. They are plummeting. Lowest ratings, this past Super Bowl, lowest ratings in 10 years, John. Because people just don't care anymore. Oh, yeah, Patriots are in the Super Bowl.
Well, it's no worse than the NBA when you have Golden State and Cleveland always playing every year.
And now Durant is in Brooklyn. So,
and look how bad Golden State is.
Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta wait and see. It's way too early. Let me tell you something about the NBA season. It's a marathon, and it's way too early.
Yeah, it's too early.
I saw Miami struggle, and then they made it to the championship one year. You know what I mean? They struggled early on. So anyway, to put a bow on this, the one guarantee, John, is that Tom Brady will be talking to other teams in March. That's interesting to note in and of itself. So.
Okay, Miles Sanders got hurt yesterday, shoulder injury. I believe it's the same one that he hurt in week 3, but he is not considered to miss any time. And they still don't know how to use him in Philly.
I know, but he had a big play yesterday for a touchdown, John. Maybe they're starting to figure it out. But frankly, Jordan Howard's playing well, too. So can you blame them? They got two guys playing well.
Two-headed monster. Denver. Joe Flacco has a neck injury. Good.
That's not the news. That's not the best news on Joe Flacco.
No, this looks like, depending on the outcome, this is where I feel bad for him. It's a herniated disc in his neck. It looks like it could possibly be surgery. They're waiting to find out more.
I'll tell you what, you looked fine in that press conference. I can tell you that much. Did you watch that?
No.
So Joe Flacco gets on the podium after the game, and he's like, look, we play scared. We don't play to win games. We don't, why are we running the ball when we should be throwing it? It doesn't make any sense. Do we want to win the games or not? You gotta look it up, bro. Like, wow. You gotta YouTube that
so
stuff.
He could be, who knows, after this injury, but because of this injury, it sounds like Flacco is not going to play. Brandon Allen will step in if Flacco is not ready to go. And in other Denver news, Royce Freeman suffered a shoulder injury in Week 8.
Hold on, John. I don't want to cut you off, but people need to hear this. This is from NFL press conference.
Mistake.
No. We're not going to let that happen. We're not going to have ads here. No, none of that. Bear with me for a moment. Here we go.
I just look at it like we're now a 2-6 football team, and we're like afraid to go for it in a 2-minute drill. Like who cares if you give the ball back to the guys with 1 minute and 40 seconds left? They obviously got the field goal anyway. And once again, we're a 2-6 football team, and it just feels like we're kind of afraid to lose a game. It's 3rd and 5 at the end of the game. It's who cares if they have a timeout there at the end or not? Getting in field goal range isn't that tough. So you're just putting your defense in these bad situations, and I just felt like, what do we have to lose? Like, why can't we be aggressive in some of these situations? That's kind of how I feel about a lot of the game today.
So that's Joe Flacco, John, who never says anything. Like, this guy never speaks out of turn, so the frustration level's high there.
Maybe there'll be a coaching change then.
And he's right. I mean, at the end of the day, he's right. We're 2-5. What do we got to lose? We throw a pick, big deal. Then we're 2-6. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they got nothing to lose at this point. They might as well try something that's going to help. Not to mention, they just traded one of their receivers. I mean, I get building for the future.
Yeah.
But
and then Deshaun Hamilton did nothing. But I guess we got to speak.
Deshaun who?
Yeah.
Okay.
I threw a dart at him. Good thing I didn't start him.
Okay, we'll go into the first game.
Is that everything on news?
That's everything on news.
Okay.
First game, the Redskins continue to be the Redskins. They now go to 1-7. They played the Minnesota Vikings, and who are now 6-2, and they lost to them 19-9. We'll go on the Vikings side of the ball. Kirk Cousins. Numbers look decent. 23 of 26.
Kirk Cousins.
285 yards, 0 TDs, 0 interceptions. That really hurt. And then Dalvin Cook off to still a good season. 23 carries for 98 yards, 1 TD, but had 5 receptions for 73 yards. So he had an overall good day. Other than that, Madison continues to see he's changed pace back there. But he had 13 carries for 61 yards.
That's interesting.
And 2 receptions for 3 yards. So they're taking it easy on Cook, it looks like, a little bit. But they're using him. They're utilizing him pretty
23 carries isn't what I would consider taking it easy on him.
But the fact is, look how much they ran the ball.
Yeah, they're definitely peppering in Madison. And Diggs had a good game, John.
Diggs without Thielen, he had 7 targets, 7 receptions for 143. A costly fumble, though, too.
But you just said the key phrase.
Without Thielen. It's a different game with Thielen. Thielen should be back this week.
So I think so. He really wanted to get out there last Thursday, but it was just too soon. With Diggs, though, before you Diggs owners lose your minds and think that it's time now, I would just temper your expectations on him.
Sell high.
I would say sell high. Yeah, I think it's a perfect time to sell high. And Thielen, I think Thielen's steady. I think he'll give you the 14 to 24. But Diggs could give you from 3 to 30. You just don't know.
So,
and if he gives you the 30, it's great. But if he gives you the 3, you might lose your week.
So on the Washington side, before Keenan went out for a concussion, he was 12 of 16 for 130 yards, 0 TDs, 0 interceptions, no rushing.
It wasn't terrible.
No. It's not bad against the Minnesota Vikings defense, but Haskins came in, stepped in. He was only 3 of 5, 0 TDs, 1 interception, 33 yards. Did not look good.
So maybe we need to be more fair because it was such a small sample size, John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson, 14 carries for 76 yards, no TDs.
Trash.
2 carries for 27 yards. Smallwood was very small in this game, 2 carries for 9 yards. On the receiving portion before Keenan went out, McLovin had 6 targets, 4 receptions, 39 yards, was irrelevant after...
So nothing.
I think he had 1 target from Haskins.
Okay.
1.
Yeah.
1. That's it.
That ain't good.
Paul, other than that, the rest of this is irrelevant
It's
stats.
just, you're not starting any of those.
Yeah, this was a field goal fest, basically. But, yeah.
So you kind of touched on it earlier. If McLovin is playing with Haskins, are you starting him or just sitting him until you know more?
I'm sitting him until I know more. So, next game, the Seattle Seahawks played the Atlanta Falcons. This game actually looks closer than what it was, but it wasn't like this. Seahawks won 27-20. I believe that the Seahawks just jumped out to a huge lead. They were up.
Dude, is it a thing that Russell Wilson just doesn't get up against bad teams? I'm starting to wonder that. If you look at his performances this year that haven't been that great, it's all against crappy teams. This
was a first half game, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to the Seahawks second half. I don't know if they were just hey, we got this win wrapped up because we're up 24-0. I don't know if that was because of that. I don't know. Russell Wilson was 14-20, 182 yards, 2 TDs. Chris Carson had 20 attempts for 90 yards and a TD. He also caught nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Penny got some action here, 8 for 55. So I don't know if I mean, there's some talks. There's been some
There's
talks about
there's
him being traded.
yeah, there is speculation of him being traded. On the receiving side, Lockett 6 targets, 6 receptions, 100 yards, so decent game. And then other than that, Metcalf.
Once again, by the way, Rashad Penny was more efficient than Chris Carson. Rashad Penny was almost 7 yards a carry.
No, I know, but he might.
4.5.
He could be traded. I have a feeling.
I'm just throwing that out.
There's a lot of rumors of him being traded.
He's been more efficient than Carson all year, but I guess all that matters is when your coach likes you personally better than the other guy. That's all Chris Carson has to hang his hat on. Still good at, yeah, exactly. Another great point there.
DK.
By the way, so Lunchbox sent us a trade. Did you see it?
No.
He offered us O.J. Howard and $25 fab dollars for Adam Thielen.
Please tell me you
look at the camera with that face.
Please tell me we rejected that right on the.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And then I text Kuchar and I'm like, can you tell your partner to stop sending us trades? So I don't want to get into detail on the expletive deleteds that I might have thrown in there.
Wow.
Wasn't very flattering.
Okay, I'm just.
Anyway, Seattle. Sorry, DK Metcalf caught 2 TDs.
DK Metcalf only had 3 receptions. 3 receptions for 13 yards, but they were both 2 TDs, and I believe.
All that matters is what you do with it, my man.
I believe he leads the NFL in red zone targets.
I love DK Metcalf in the keeper league next year. He's not gonna get capped because he's too far down the list. He's not a sure thing. I'm gonna be all about that guy.
You probably shouldn't have said it on here because now
that's okay. Come bring it. I'll get it.
On the Atlanta,
and not only that, Dynasty, I'm shooting for him as well.
On the Atlanta Falcons side, this is where the shock comes into place. Matt Schaub. I'm surprised.
You sure it was Matt? Wasn't Matt Ryan?
Matt Schaub.
Okay, because that's a Matt Ryan.
That's Matt Ryan numbers
right
here.
there, yeah.
Matt Schaub against the Seahawks, which are not top of the line defense,
not the
like
best.
a middle of the pack. He was 39 of 52 for 75% completion percentage for 460 yards.
Just didn't really have the touchdown.
1 TD and 1 interception, but still a good
But
day.
he still had a heck of a start for you for the 0 people that put him in their line.
Yeah, Turd Cutter here still continues to kill Devontae Freeman.
Yeah.
Well, running backs in general, because Devontae Freeman, 13 carries for 39 yards. Nothing to see here, but Devontae...
Well, that's kind of on Freeman, though. That's not great.
Devontae Freeman out of the backfield, though, catching balls, 8 receptions, 63 yards, so that's the good news there.
Yeah, no, Freeman, I mean, from a fantasy box score standpoint, he had a great game, or a very solid game at the least. Julio, 10 receptions for 150. This guy's just unbelievable.
No, Julio, this is what's weird. Okay, started off the season hot, pounding in those touchdowns, pounding the yardage. But it was weird because the weeks he had the touchdowns, his yardage wasn't high, but he gets an insane amount of targets here.
And just
12
PPR.
targets. Yeah. 10 receptions, 152 yards, and you're like, where's the TD?
So, yeah, but 10 receptions is almost 2 TDs.
Yeah, his target share here was very inspiring.
And let's face it, who's playing non-PPR, quote-unquote, standard anymore? Nobody.
It's the same people that are playing kickers and defenses.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Calvin Ridley, before he went out, which I think he has a concussion, they think.
Yeah.
I
called Ridley having a good game here.
He had 7 targets. Well, you would add more. That's the thing. 4 receptions, 70 yards.
Yeah.
Hanging with Austin Hooper.
Yeah.
7 targets, 6 receptions, 65 yards and a TD.
So I had a pretty good quip on our chat in our league. I really truly think that Zach Ertz, it's like think of it in terms of superheroes. Zach Ertz gave all of his tight end superpowers to Austin Hooper, and that's why Austin Hooper's so good now, and Zach Ertz is trash.
Speaking of trash, Arizona got trashed.
That's a pretty good one.
Drew Brees is returned back here. The Saints won 31-9 over the Arizona Cardinals. We'll go over the Saints side of the ball.
We can rebuild him and make him better and stronger.
Yeah, Drew Brees doesn't look like anything happened to his...
better. He looks better than he
34 of 43 for 373 yards, 3 TDs, and 1 touchdown, and 1 interception.
I think he just...
Latavius Murray. I can't not understand why they're not going to get him involved once Kamara comes back. 21 carries
He's earned it.
for 102 yards in a TD, and I believe he had 9 catches for 55 yards in a TD.
You know what that is? That's an Alvin Kamara stat line.
Yes, that's exactly a great stat line.
I've always liked Latavius Murray. Back when he was in Oakland, dude, and I had him as like my 4th running back, and I could plug him in on bye weeks and flex, and he would get me a touchdown every single time at
So
least.
this team right
He's got a
now
nose for the
is
end
rolling
zone.
their
Yeah.
way into the playoffs. They're what on them with like a 16.
Dude, they went undefeated with Teddy Bridgewater.
Yes,
Who's fine, but he's not
their
great.
their defense, Saints defense is a real thing too.
Yeah.
People need to start respecting that. On the receiving side, Michael Thomas.
Shock T.
Yep, 11 receptions for 112 yards and a TD.
Automatic. Dude's just automatic.
Yeah, my glitch guy Taysom Hill,
Yeah.
3 catches for 63 yards and a TD.
But he did some other stuff too. Like, didn't he run the ball? And maybe I'm wrong on
No,
that.
no, he
I
didn't.
thought he did.
Nope.
The dude can literally run, throw, and catch the ball. Like,
Yeah,
he's got
I'm just
it all.
surprised they don't use him more than what they already do. But
I was a little surprised that we didn't see more from some of the other receivers,
Like
John.
Ginn?
Yeah, they just went to Latavius, which is great, but I thought you might see a little bit more from like a Ginn or who is your boy even on the
who? Traquan, he's out.
Oh, he's out. Okay.
Oh yeah, this guy can't stay
Well,
healthy.
he sucks, so I don't pay much attention.
He won me my week last year.
Yeah.
On the Arizona side of the ball, Arizona just couldn't get it going this week. Edmonds getting hurt. Plus this defense, like I said,
yeah, man.
this is a tough defense.
We were so close to that T.Y. Hilton trade. So close. But now Edmonds has zero value.
Goodbye.
But there is another. We've got our eye on somebody
Kyler
else.
Murray, 19 of 33 for 220 yards, 0 TDs, 0 interceptions, and he only had 13 yards rushing on 2 attempts. So,
But Christian Kirk, John, yesterday was all about Christian Kirk. He was heavily targeted, 11 targets, 8 catches for 79 yards. He also ran the ball, John, for 19 yards. I think it was an end around that he.
so this makes
he
me
was
feel
involved
better.
in.
He's healthy.
He's great, and we're going to talk tomorrow about takes from the dark side, our Halloween special, and we're going to talk about one of Jake's takes, and that was Larry Fitzgerald. That was definitely a take from the dark side. He started out pretty good this year, but has not been the same, and the targets are not going his way. And now that Kirk's back, you can see that the focus is on him.
Yeah, beginning of the season, you would have thought it was Larry Fitzgerald. Now it seems like it with
Fitzgerald
Kirk.
might be droppable. Just saying.
He hasn't looked good.
That's my take.
So we'll save your take for tomorrow.
Yeah, we gotta, no, we're talking about the bad takes that we
Oh,
had.
okay. So the next game we going into,
Like your Kirk Cousins take.
he was
or-
good for 3 weeks.
Or my Rashad Penny take.
He might be in the between. We'll
Those
see.
are teasers, yeah.
The San Diego Chargers beat the Chicago Bears 17-16.
What an ugly game.
Can we just say that Mitch Trubisky is trash?
Dude, well, we can, but apparently, what's his name? The head coach over there.
Nagy.
Nagy. He can't, because he's going to start him again next week.
Well, let's do it. But one thing I will give Nagy is that he finally used Montgomery the right way. Finally.
He did, and we talked about this. Montgomery is one of those Sony Michel types of running backs where they need a heavy volume workload, John. Melvin Gordon's another one of those guys, and now you're seeing he's not getting the workload. And let's talk about Melvin Gordon. And now hold on. I'm going to get on my soapbox here. So I go against Pat, he's starting Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler, and they're both trash. And they both get a freaking touchdown. And I'm sitting there with 5 of the best players on the planet, and I can't get a touchdown out of them. And these 2 clowns have trash games, and they each get a touchdown. But I still beat you, Pat.
So Montgomery yesterday, 27 carries for 135 yards and a TD. That's the volume.
That's what you need to give Josh
Jacobs.
And Josh Jacobs, and a lot of these. Well, Jacobs gets involved in the pass.
Allen Robinson does it again. 7 targets, probably his lowest target. 5 receptions, 62 yards.
Allen Robinson is like a poor man's Michael Thomas. He doesn't have the high. He doesn't give you a 20
No,
every
but
week,
he has-
but he gives you 10 to 15.
Yes,
every
we're going
week.
to say the consistency. Other than that,
I'm in my head. I'm like, how do I get my hands on Allen Robinson? So before our trade deadline, I'm going to be going after him because he is automatic.
he's consistent. Very consistent.
And once again, John. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
Anthony Miller?
Anthony Miller is coming back to form. He flashed last year, and he's starting to flash again this year. Worth picking up on the waiver wire, you think? Miller?
Keep an eye on it. His targets have gone up the last 3 weeks in a row. So Montgomery also chipped in 4 receptions for 12 yards. Yeah, a little 5 points there, but still 5 points.
Hey, 5 points, 5 points.
Other than that, Cohen, who are you? Goodbye. Gabriel can't trust. He's off and on. So Robinson is the safest here.
These running backs like Cohen that only catch passes, that ironically don't run the ball, they're not typically very productive, man. Like, Cohen's not a guy when
Now we're starting to see that with Eckler, because now that he's gone more to a passing role.
Yes.
Now we're starting to see it, but
they line him up outside wide, like they do.
Yeah, they utilize him more. But I will say this about the Chargers game yesterday: Chargers just kind of abandoned the run. They only had 12 attempts.
Dude, it wasn't even that. Like Chicago just stifled this offense. That's what happened.
Chargers offense in general just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go into that. Phillip Rivers, 19 of 29 for 201 yards, a TD and an interception. I haven't seen the blow-up game this year from Rivers. Like, he always has once a year at least.
The first couple weeks were fine, but...
Yeah.
What about Keenan Allen? 7 for 53. Just not what you want from Keenan Allen. When did Keenan Allen turn into, just that steady guy that gives you 11 points a week? I mean, when did Keenan Allen turn into Philip Dorsett, frankly?
And Mike Williams hasn't really done much this year.
Mike Williams has been a huge disappointment.
Wasn't that one of Jake's takes?
It was another take from the dark side, and I'm sure he's regretting it. I mean, he started him against me, and one of the reasons he lost last week. And it's just, I'm going to tell you guys right now, though, I don't think there's anybody from a waiver wire standpoint on this side of the game. Again, I think Anthony Miller's worth a look. But from a trade standpoint, I'm telling you guys, I have lived this. Keenan Allen is about to go off. I'm telling you guys. Look in my eyes. Keenan Allen is about to go off. This happens every year with him where he has this little plateau.
It's about 3 to 5 games.
Yep,
and
there's
then
a little plateau, and then he's like, hold my bird. And he goes off, and that's about to happen.
And this wouldn't be a bad time, especially in my case. I have 2 good tight ends. Henry's seeing, this was probably his worst game in the last 3 games.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about Henry at all.
But he had 4 catches for 47 yards, but...
on 6 targets, though. For a tight end, that's great.
No, he's got that low floor of like 8 to 10, which you want.
He got the targets. He got some yardage. He just didn't get the touch.
They were facing a tough D. Chicago's still not the same D it was last year, but they're still good.
Yeah.
They're not the exact, this year it's the Patriots that are the Chicago.
Rest of season, Hunter Henry or Mark Andrews?
Mark Andrews.
So you're trading Hunter Henry. By the way, I'm over here in case you need a...
I need a running back.
Well, you ain't getting none of that.
Then they need to help me because I don't have any running backs.
Maybe Darius Geis. Maybe we could work on Geis for a Henry deal.
I need it for this week. I'm playing you.
Tough voodoo.
I'm playing you, so it won't happen. I'll have to pick up like Reggie Bonifant this week or something. Next game we'll go into is the Jets played the Jaguars. Jaguars won here 29-15. Minshew Mania is running wild.
Minshew doing its best impression of Aaron Rodgers and refusing to run on the goal. So they ran on the goal line. Leonard Fournette got a touchdown. And then some cockamamie play. No, it wasn't even called back. So he went. They were stopping him, but the line was still pushing him, and then they pushed him into the end zone. But some idiot ref blew the whistle saying his momentum had stopped, which it clearly had not. So that was a touchdown there. And then you know what Doug Moron does on the next play? Let's run it to the outside with Leonard Fournette. That seems like a great idea. Leonard Fournette is not an outside guy. He doesn't run to the outside. He punches you in the mouth, and then once he breaks free, he goes nuts. Just horrible play calling. The referees screwed him. But he still got 20 points with PPR because he's Leonard Fournette.
So Minshew was 22 of 34, 279 yards, 3 TDs.
At this point, Gunter, you're on my ban list. I don't like you. You are affecting negatively Leonard Fournette's production. And I have officially tweeted at the Jaguars organization telling them that they need to get Leonard Fournette more touchdowns.
8 carries for 28 yards from Minshew. Fournette only had 9.
Hashtag feed Lenny.
Leonard Fournette just had 19 carries for 76 yards. He's still being heavily targeted in the pass game, though. 7 receptions for 60 yards, though. So that's the good news there. On the receiving side, Chark, 12 targets.
Totally butchered that.
6 receptions for 79 yards.
Chark,
and a TD. D.D. Westbrook got hurt in this game. What have I said before? Always keep an eye on Westbrook, because when Westbrook goes out, Conley benefits, which he did. He had 7 targets, 4 receptions, 103 yards, and a TD for Conley. He's basically the number 2 there. Cole, though, this guy always gets a red zone TD. He had another one.
Yeah.
2 catches for 12 yards and another touchdown for Cole.
That helps no one.
Yes, exactly.
And a couple people might have started keeping.
On the New York Jets side of the ball, Sam Darnold's still seeing ghosts because he threw 3 picks here. He was 21 of 30.
And you wanted to pick him up in the tag team league, and I'm like, dude, this guy's trash.
No, we picked up Derek Carr.
But you wanted to pick up Sam Darnold. Remember?
Yeah, but...
Like, oh, look at Sam Darnold. He's going to be great.
Yeah, but that was at the time when we had Lamar Jackson as a bye-week fill-in.
Yeah.
He has an
Well,
easy schedule.
under no circumstances should you ever roster Sam Darnold, because he's not good. He's a goofy big forehead. Just don't even
He sees
bother.
dead people. So
he
he
sees dead people.
He had 3
I see dead
interceptions,
people.
but he had 2 TDs. His rushing was anemic. Speaking of anemic, is this rushing game from the Jets. Le'Veon Bell, 9 of 23.
Yeah, but their schedule turns the corner very soon, starting this week with Miami. So don't worry too much about Le'Veon.
Okay, and he only had 3 receptions for 12 yards.
He'll be fine. Buy low.
And do you think Robbie Anderson gets traded?
I am going to tell you right now, I had a dream.
He's he's Martin Luther King here.
That Robbie Anderson, legit dream.
Goes to
Robbie,
Cowboys.
That he got traded to
I
Dallas.
knew you were gonna say that.
If that happens, I'm like, this is awesome. Him and Amari and Zeke, and Old Man Witten out there, it's gonna be great. But I don't know. They're shopping him. It looks like they're eager to trade him. He's not going to New England, I don't think, because they're not trading within the division.
You never know now, though.
But those guys are still, as I hear it, looking for wide receivers. So it'd be interesting. I'd love to see Robbie Anderson go to Dallas. But there's a lot of teams that could use it.
The only person really worth talking about in this game was Ryan Griffin.
Ryan Griffin. Is he the third? Oh, that's Robert Griffin.
Yeah. He had 4 receptions for 66 yards.
Oh, you were trying to do a Peter Griffin thing there. Yeah,
I can't do good Peter Griffin.
You do a good Chewbacca. That's unbelievable. That's talent.
So we will go to the next game.
Nobody cares about Ryan Griffin, apparently.
Yeah, they like the Chewbacca.
Doesn't he strung together a couple good games, though? I mean, maybe he's worth
Herndon's supposed to be coming back, and Griffin actually sees a decent amount of targets.
Yeah, and typically they play their starters all game.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is Griffin has a good matchup. He won't go off. He'll actually get like 1 target for 8 yards. It's like they almost don't target him against good matchups.
I mean, let's be honest. Any points the Jets score are kind of lucky and fluky anyway. So
okay, speaking of an action-packed,
remember when everybody thought that they were one of the tough teams that New England was going to play?
That went out the door real quick. So the next game up, the New York Giants versus the Detroit Lions. Lions take this game 31-26.
This was a good game.
It was actually pretty action-packed. It actually was a good game.
Stafford continues to perform well.
I told you, I've always liked Stafford. I don't know why nobody else does.
I would have enjoyed if he threw a touchdown to Marvatron this week.
So this team now has become, I think, pass happy, and this is what blew people away.
Why are you shouting?
Sorry.
Again?
Everybody thought Ty Johnson would be the premier back here. It was Trey Carson.
Remember what this guy said? Don't start any of them. None of them. Not a one.
So McKissick was...
Because they're not that good at running the ball anyway.
No. It's actually out of the backfield. That's the biggest thing. But Stafford slung the ball here. 25 of 32 for 342 yards, 3 TDs, and 1 interception. He had a great game.
That Carson, by the way, if my math is correct, 2.8 yards per carry.
Yes,
that's
their
lead back there.
Yes. We won't even go into the backs. They're horrible. Yes. Galladay, have yourself a holiday.
When Paul Perkins is getting carries,
yeah,
kind of all you need to
8 targets, 6 receptions, 123 yards, and 2 TDs for Galladay. Danny, I play you the wrong week, Amendola, because he's so spotty. He had 8 targets, 8 receptions, 95 yards. And then Hall, I know he's like their, what's the word I want to use? Like one of their flankers they play every once in a while. He had 1 catch for 49 yards for a TD. That's the second time he's done that. And then Marvatron kind of came back down to earth, but he had the targets, 5 receptions, 5 targets, 4 receptions, 22 yards.
Did you start him this week?
Yes, I did. That's why I'm having a holiday with Galladay.
We haven't played this in a while.
Galladay!
Yeah, he's good.
Speaking of good.
He good.
Dr. Jones in the Temple of Doom had a great game here. He was
Daniel-san getting it done, man.
Daniel Jones. 28 of 41, 322 yards, 4 TDs, 0 interceptions. This was a great game. Not to mention, we only had 4 carries for 13 yards, but great game from Dr. Jones.
My new thing for him is Daniel-san.
Daniel-san.
Yeah, the kid, the karate kid.
Saquon Barkley.
Saquons. By the way, Daniel Jones is going to be trash next week, probably. So don't
19
get
carries for 64 yards. But this is the usage I like seeing out of Barkley. He had 10 targets, 8 receptions, 79 yards at TD.
He had 10 on targets.
He had 10 on targets.
Why are you talking like
Speaking
that?
of 10 on targets, Golden Tate had 8 receptions for 85 yards. So,
but Golden Tate, he good, man. The only team that couldn't figure Golden Tate out was Philadelphia because they're not. I mean, they're a trash organization. I don't care how many Super Bowls you clowns win, you're still trash. But Golden Tate is what Golden Tate was in Detroit and kind of what he was in Seattle. He's really good, and he's out there to win. He said that. I'm here to win.
And Darius Slayton now, I think, is worth a free agent pickup.
2 TDs, 5 targets, 2 catches on 5 targets, but for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns. Great game there.
And Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram showed back up, my man. He back. But really, Barkley is just, I have him on my dynasty team, and he's not even back to full strength, I don't think.
This is like, it should be his floor.
Yeah,
so that's why.
Even better games. What did he get for points this week? Like 22, something like that?
24, 25. He actually had a pretty good game.
When he's back up to 30, he's at full strength.
This game was opposite of what I thought it was going to be. It was actually like a shootout near the end, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Tennessee Titans. Titans take this game 27-23. Ryan Tannehill making people look like stars out here finally.
Except Corey Davis.
Except for Corey Davis.
Corey Davis is just still a stick of dynamite in your hands. It's going to go off, but it's probably...
But Tannehill, 21-33. You did say start him. You said a good chance to start him this week. He had 3 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 16 carries for 75 yards and 1 catch for 8 yards. Not a great Derrick Henry game.
No.
But the winner here was Johanu Smith. Johnu. I always say Johanu. I don't know why. It's got a better ring to it. 7 targets, 6 receptions, 78 yards, and a TD.
All right, well, I'm going to start calling you Jahan Sarois.
That's fine. It's got a good ring to it. It's different than everything else. Adam Humphries pronounced. No, sorry.
No, you can't say that.
He did not. This is where Humphries actually. You were debating as a spot start. You said if you had to take a chance, but he did not do well here.
Yeah, he didn't do the Humpty Hump.
Yeah, he had 3 catches for 24 yards.
Now, don't put that all on me. It's not like you.
No.
I mean, come on.
AJ Brown. So this offense is still exploring.
It's still a feast or famine receiving.
Yeah, AJ Brown.
Yeah. Brown got saved by a TD.
Yep, 2 catches for 11 yards. And Corey Davis, where are you?
He does. That's what Corey Davis does, man. So if Corey Davis ever has a big week, don't start him the next week. Just don't do it regardless.
Just do
of
the opposite. Every opposite.
This was a great matchup.
So
too.
on the Tampa Bay side of the ball, Winston was 21 of 43 for 301, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions.
He rocked the Konami code in this one. 53 yards on the ground.
Yep, on 8 carries, which is really good.
He also had 2 interceptions.
Chef Boyardee and Ronald Jones.
Chef Barber
D and Ronald Jones did nothing here. Boogeyman.
Neither did the Boogeyman. He had 1 carry for -2 yards.
And 1 catch for 3 yards.
Oh, that's dynamite.
But
that 1 carry for -2 yards, 1 catch.
He had
so that's 1 point.
Yes, he's bad.
Unless you're in decimals, which you should do, by the way.
So Mike Evans was the star here. 12 targets, 11 receptions for 198 yards and 2 TDs.
Yeah, and like Godwin just not having a great game. He did have a 2-point conversion that got you up to 10 points for him.
But this is his worst game yet, I think.
That's his worst game.
Worst game. And
it wasn't a great matchup. I mean, Tennessee is no joke. They let Mike Evans go off, and you know what? Jameis was like, okay, they can't cover Evans. And they couldn't. Like, if you watch the game, they just could not cover Mike Evans at all. They had no answer for him. If you want to win the game, you're going to go after the guy that the other team has no answer for. So Godwin suffered a little bit from that. But Jameis and his interceptions, Bruce Arians was out there defending him after the game and saying that they weren't his fault.
One person he's not defending is O.J. Howard. Look at that stat line.
I know. So anyway, I saw something today on O.J. as well that now they're not opposed to trading him, but it would take a pretty big bag, so to speak.
From the reports I'm reading, they're looking at like a 2nd rounder or 1st rounder for him, possibly.
I think a 1st rounder is probably not bloody likely.
I don't either.
A second rounder's a possibility. OJ Howard on any other team is just going to be a fantasy stud. Bottom line.
I know the one team that is still interested in him.
New England.
New England. And
I'm sure there's more than New England. I know New England was the one that had inquired, and they were like, no. So I don't know if it's just New England that they didn't want to trade to, but now they're saying, well, you know. And why wouldn't they? It makes no sense. You have a coach that doesn't like the guy, doesn't want to utilize the guy, which is the wrong decision in my opinion. You've got Cameron Brate, who's a good tight end. Might as well get, if he's not part of the plan, then just get something for him. Duh.
Yeah. So.
What's the next game, John?
Next game.
Eagles, Bills.
So we are in Eagles and Bills.
You've been saying that a lot
Well,
today.
Philadelphia Eagles won this game 31-13. Not what I expected.
No, man. This should have been a feast game for
But-
Josh Allen.
I also heard the winds in Buffalo were like 35 miles per hour up there.
Buffalo. Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't raining, but the
Yeah,
weather
it's pretty windy.
Yeah,
but,
pretty windy.
It didn't seem to bother the Eagles, John. So what's the excuse for Buffalo?
Don't know, but we'll go in the Philly side. Carson Wentz 17 of 24 for 172 yards and a TD.
He's just not good, is he?
I don't know if he broke his back, if he broke his head,
I don't
because
know.
maybe
Ertz gave Wentz's superpowers to Austin Hooper too. I don't know. He gave his powers.
This is
to
not
Austin
MVP
Hooper.
caliber of Wentz what they had at the beginning of the year.
No.
Speaking of MVP, would be their run game. Their run game was actually pretty good.
Sanders only had 3 carries.
But what does that tell you? That
Yeah.
big playability.
You getting mad at me? For
No, sorry, I'm not. I'm just trying to make
I
my
know.
point. Jordan Howard, 23 carries for 96 yards and a TD.
So I just don't understand that disparity, John. 23 carries for Howard, 3 for Sanders.
And yeah, but Sanders has 3 carries for 74
yeah.
yards and a TD. But Sanders had 3 receptions for 44 yards. You think he's worthy of a flex start now? Or too scary?
I want to say matchup dependent, but the Buffalo Bills have a pretty darn good defense.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of that, the Sanders production on the ground was from the 1 touchdown play. But he looked explosive. I think they need to give him more carries. Until they see that, I'm not totally comfortable starting him. But I mean, I think his baseline's like 8 points. So it's not like he's going to kill your week if he has a bad week. But I don't know. I'm a little nervous. You probably have better options. But if he's got a sweet matchup, yeah, you definitely roll him out there.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Boston Scott got a touchdown. Are you picking him up on the waiver
Boston
wire?
Scott. Maybe I should just because of Boston. Alshon.
But no, right?
No.
Okay.
Alshon Jeffrey, 6 targets, 4 receptions, 64 yards. And then we already went over Sanders. Zach Ertz. Where are you? 4 targets, 2 receptions.
I know.
2 receptions, 20 yards.
So here's one for you. Dallas Goedert or Zach Ertz rest of season?
Dallas Goedert.
I disagree. I think that's ridiculous. I think, and I don't blame you because a lot of people are falling for this right now. But this type of thing, I'm going to tell you guys a big secret about the NFL. When a big name guy has a few bad weeks, expect an explosion.
But
that's just always how it plays out, John. Always. Look at Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs had a few bad weeks. Then the press started talking about it. And once the press starts talking about it, the boom is not far behind.
But the difference here, though, too, do you think possibly with the trade deadline looming, they trade one of them? I think it's more Dallas than
I
anything.
don't think so.
And pick up a corner in a trade.
I don't think so. There hasn't really been any indication from any of the major writers or
No, I know, but
insiders.
it's always one of those things. It could happen.
You
It
never
could.
know. I don't see it happening.
They're hurting that corner. If to me, you trade one of your tight ends.
If you can get your hands on Zach Ertz right now, you go get that guy. I'm telling you, the boom is coming. I've seen this story many times before.
On the Buffalo side, Josh Allen, 16 of 34 for 169 yards and 2 TDs, but also chipped in 8 carries for 45 yards. So,
His touchdown, he always gets a touchdown, and he always gets work on the ground. So Allen provides a really safe floor. Well, it's not safe because it's kind of, not guaranteed, but he always ends up getting it. He's got a good floor, but he should have had such a bigger game, John, than he did in this one. He should have feasted. This should have been another coming out game for him.
Frank the Tank, 9 carries for 34 yards.
And how many for Singletary?
3.
And who's better?
Singletary.
Yes. He also got a touchdown through the air, I think.
He had 4 catches for 30 yards and a TD.
So what is the mental block here, John? when it comes to the Buffalo Bills and
I still think remember, he missed about 3 weeks. I think they're going to ease him in, but I told you the timeshare will change as the season
Well, he
goes.
doesn't want to ease in because he's like, get me in the end zone.
No, I know,
Get me
but I think there
He's
is.
such
He missed three.
talented guy.
He missed 3 weeks with that hammy. I think as an organization, I'm just giving you my opinion what they're doing. I think they're easing him in, but he is definitely being used more
So
than
they're
ever was.
easing him in. The man's like 21 years old. Isn't it Frank Gore that should be getting eased in and out?
Oh, I get that.
Come on,
But
dude.
Frank the Tank's a legend, man.
Yeah, well.
So
that legend isn't going to help him win playoff
Yep.
games. Devin Singletary is. They need to get that guy. going.
John Brown switches an offense here. He just
That
continues
huge,
to.
huge disappointment game here, though. John.
No, he should.
Honestly, he should have feasted
Yep.
too. And I'm glad he didn't because I played against
But
him.
like I said, it wasn't also the win here. I don't know. I didn't watch this game.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge passing game.
Yeah, but Brown had
Yeah.
a decent floor here. He had 8 targets, 5 receptions, 54 yards.
You got your 10 PPR.
Beasley, 7 targets, 3 receptions, 41 yards and a TD. So he looks like the number 2 there.
Beasley?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's.
So other than that,
Yeah, not a great game.
Duke Williams,
Yeah, what did he do?
2 targets, 1 reception, 6 yards.
Wasn't that your guy? It's like, oh, Duke Williams guy.
No, no.
Gotta keep your eye out for him.
I said keep an eye on him because he's been taught.
I don't know why I went all Sheriff Driscoll there.
Well, remember he replaced Zay Jones.
Duke Williams is kind of an old West name too. Duke Williams, Deputy Duke. We got Sheriff Driscoll and Deputy Duke.
Oh,
What were you talking about?
I don't even know now. I'm laughing at the impression. So next game we'll go to is, and this game should go quick because it's not great for stats. Denver Broncos versus the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts won this game 15-13. The Broncos here, Flacco was,
Wacko.
yep, he had 20 of 32, 174, 0 TDs, 0 interceptions, and he had 9 yards rushing. Philip Lindsay, 14 carries for 59 yards, and he had 5 targets, 5 receptions on 17 yards. Remember, Royce Freeman came out of this game early because of his shoulder injury, but Freeman, even coming out early, had 12 carries, 40 yards, a TD, and he also had 1 reception for 5 yards. This is on limited duty.
Sorry. What is that? Apparently, this is my kid's. I don't know, can we. You probably can't see it, but.
Well, it's a gingerbread man.
It's a gingerbread.
But it looks like a ninja costume.
Apparently, this is a Fortnite costume. No, you don't have to zoom in, Caden.
Alright.
I don't. What is happening to the world, John?
Don't know.
I'll have to put this on Facebook. I'll put this on our Facebook. This is Nigel's costume. Oh my God.
Weird costume. On the receiving side, Cortland Sutton is still the number 1. 6 targets, 3 receptions, 72 yards. Noah Fant with Emmanuel Sanders gone. He actually did decent here. Decent. I'm not going to say great. He had 8 targets, though. That's the thing you want to see. 5 receptions for 26 yards. But Deshaun Hamilton.
Yeah, I think Deshaun Hamilton just isn't high on the priority list for this coaching staff because last year Deshaun definitely flashed and played well, and this year not seeing it, not even seeing targets. I actually grabbed him off the waiver wire because I thought this might be a coming out party for him once they traded Sanders. Doesn't look like it this week, but at the same time this offense didn't look great. I mean, Sutton only got 3 catches, so it just wasn't a good week.
Speaking of not looking great, Indianapolis Colts.
Let me ask you this: Deshaun Hamilton or Deebo Samuel rest of the season?
Debo.
I think you're probably right.
Brissett, 15 of 25, 202, 0 TDs, 0 receptions, 6 carries for 34 yards.
So he was not saved by the TD this week,
Nope,
John.
nothing to save him here.
Yeah.
He got like 11 points. Very bad game for him.
Mac had a decent game, 4 yards of carry.
Yeah,
John.
I just wish they would involve Mac more in the passing game.
He's
One
not,
target.
That's not what he is.
No, he is a ground and bound
Yeah,
back.
he is. He's not a pass catching back. And when you have guys like Naheem Hines out there, why?
But this is what limits a Mac. Like, cause he has, if he could catch more, he could easily be an RB1. But he just runs the ball.
Yeah.
But he's having a good year. He's having a decent year.
Ty had one of those Ty bust games.
Yep, he had 6 targets, 2 receptions, 54 yards. But remember, Chris Harris Jr.
Oh yeah. No, he's gonna shut you down.
Yeah.
He has done it to opposing wide receivers all year.
Doyle rules here. 4 receptions, 61 yards.
Oh, yeah. He shows up once a year. He's like Santa Claus. He shows up once a year. That's
And
his.
so, Eric Ebron last year, number 1 tight end.
He's just yeah. But different quarterback, John.
Yep.
And sometimes that's all that makes a difference.
3 receptions for 26
He
yards.
had great chemistry with him. Man, wouldn't it be nice to have Andrew Luck out there this year, dude? Nothing against Jacoby Brissett. Dude's done good with what they've given him, and he's definitely exceeded expectations as Brissett. But man, it's just so crummy to have a guy in his prime not out there, and you see how it affects other players. Eric Ebron's a perfect example of that.
So we have Tank for Tua, Cincinnati Bengals.
Who's gonna win that fight?
Played the Los Angeles Rams, and this was at Wembley. And remember I said, these overseas games don't... I really thought the Rams should have destroyed the Bengals, but at halftime, it was only 17-10.
So again, when we were watching the 3 interceptions in a row that were dropped in the same play, I told Andrew, my son, and he's a big Bengals fan, I'm like, they're trying to lose. I mean, it's like they were playing hot potato with the darn ball.
I don't want you to get it.
They gotta be trying to lose. Mixon return, though.
That's what's weird against the Rams.
I know, man.
So Andy Dalton, considering the Rams now have Jalen Ramsey, he was 32 of 52 for 329 yards, but only had 1 TD. Rushing, he had 1 carry for 4 yards. But Joe Mixon, this is his best game yet, I believe.
Yeah, well, yeah.
17 carries for 66
I think it was
yards.
like week 3 and 4 was.
Wait a minute, 17 carries.
Yeah, what did he
That was more than the whole team had last week.
I know, dude.
So
what did he get through the air?
Through the air, he had 4 catches for 11 yards and a TD.
Yeah.
But I expect more usage than this. But this is better than what we've seen.
Louis Erickson, or whatever the guy's name is once again
Erickson's
the leading receiver.
So you have Tyler Boyd there.
Yeah.
Then again, he might be covered by Ramsey.
Tyler Boyd,
but he still had a good game.
He had a good game.
Yeah,
he had 12 fantasy PPR points.
Yeah. Yep, and then
Eifert showed up.
Yeah, 6 catches for 74 yards. Yeah. Tate, 13 targets, but did nothing with them. 5 receptions for 65 yards, and then...
Yeah, the 13 targets thing kind of blew me away, but they just... I mean, Cincinnati had a hard time getting it going against this defense through the air specifically. They had a good game yardage-wise, but just couldn't get it into the end zone. Just again, it's almost like they're really trying to lose.
So
they don't have to try that hard. I mean, they're not that good. So
Jared Goff for the Rams, 17 of 31 for 372 yards and 2 TDs. Darrell Henderson, 11 carries for 49 yards. Actually had more attempts than Gurley. I know it's only 1.
Yeah.
Gurley had 10 attempts for 44 yards.
I don't know what John was going on about. That's not a bad stat line on Goff.
No, it's not horrible.
That's a pretty good stat line.
Yeah, but I can see what he's saying, though. Take away the Cooper Kupp line.
Right. Cooper Kupp is a stud.
Yes.
Cooper Kupp is a guy I would love to have on my fantasy team.
And I remember you asked me before the season started, who do I think should be the number 1 there?
Yeah, I mean...
I think it's Kupp.
Cooks got hurt in this one, so that's a bummer. He got a concussion.
Yeah. He went out first play.
Target, yeah. So that's a bummer there. But he hasn't really been up to snuff this year. Robert Woods has just been there.
You know what this is starting to remind me of? Robert Woods in Buffalo.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm telling you, it all hinges on Todd Gurley. Because teams know that they don't have to sweat him. Because he's not getting used like he has in the past.
Let me look at this. Todd Gurley's receiving line.
He got a touchdown, saved his day.
Yeah, but that's on running. But
yeah.
Remember the usage he used to get out of the backfield when he threw the ball?
Oh, yeah.
He had 1 target, 0
7
receptions.
catches. Yeah,
0 receptions.
And that's why I think you're not... Dude, these teams know we don't have to sweat Todd Gurley in the passing game because that ain't happening. So we're going to glove up these receivers. One of them will go off, but the rest of them won't, and we can control the game a little bit better that way. Until LA decides we need to get the ball through the air to Gurley again, they're going to continue to have games like this. And some of them they'll win against teams like Cincinnati, but a lot of them they'll lose against actual good teams.
And Cooper Kupp, 10 targets, 7 receptions for 220 yards and a TD. He went off.
Yeah.
He went off.
Gerald Everett, my opponent, started him this week. There's like this Seinfeld gif that he's just laughing with a cigar in his hand. When I saw Gerald Everett in his lineup, I was like,
No, Everett's.
Good luck with that.
I think Everett's a spot start. He's not a consistent fantasy
He's not even
starter
that,
today.
dude. Yeah.
Josh Reynolds, 8 targets, 3 receptions, 73 yards and a TD.
Josh Reynolds is back. He was good last year.
But but remember, what Cooks is out, so that helped him.
Right, but why isn't that production going to Robert Woods though? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't get that. I know there's different types of receivers.
Well, the only thing I can think here, William Jackson III was probably covering Woods, and he's actually a really good corner for Cincinnati. He's actually one of the better ones in the league too.
Is about all they got.
That's all they have. Everybody else.
Well, Kirkpatrick, is he out? I don't know.
He was out. Denard was in, but then out. So
Yeah,
I mean, it makes a difference who's covering you.
Not
too.
a lot for waiver wire action this week. Really.
Reynolds, if Cooks doesn't play,
Yeah,
maybe that's a roll of the dice.
I'm even talking just as you know, in the 100-foot view, like not gonna be a great waiver wire
So,
week.
speaking of getting out of hand quickly, the San Fran game, I'm watching this game and I'm just seeing touchdown. The San Francisco 49ers stay undefeated.
Yeah.
They won this game against the Panthers 51-13.
By the way, Jimmy Garoppolo, it was National Touchdown Day. National Tight End Day. I would like seeing a touchdown to George Kittle, but had a great game.
Yeah.
Because it's George Kittle.
Garoppolo was 18 of 22, 175 yards, 2 TDs, and 1 interception. He's never going to have a huge stat line.
Who?
Garoppolo.
Yeah, no, he's not a great
He's like a game manager.
I'm just thinking about Kittle again. I actually gave Andrew a stunner when Kittle got the touchdown, and then it got taken away from him.
Here's the thing.
So Andrew got a stunner.
Kittle is seeing the targets, but this game, like I was saying, the DJ through Texas yesterday, he's like, maybe Kittle will score a touchdown. I'm like, dude, the game's so out of hand, they're going to run the ball.
It was still a lot of time left, though.
But but when a team...
But that's how bad it was.
Yeah, it was... Well, hold on, let me look at halftime. It was about halftime when I said
it. Was halftime.
It was 27-3.
So there was definitely opportunity for him to
but most teams will run.
And by the way, Tevin Coleman got one after that. So.
Yeah. So Tevin Coleman, 11 carries, 105, 3 TDs, and then he had 2 catches for 13 yards and a TD. He had 4 TDs.
He's a jerk.
Raheem Mostert, 9 carries for 60 yards and TD.
Sanders had a TD early. It was like the first catch of the day for him.
I believe so.
On the first drive.
So he had 4 catches for 25 yards and a TD, but now if you start looking at this pecking order, it looks like Kittle Sanders.
It's Kittle and Sanders.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is here, Carolina's got a good defense. I mean, they've handled some pretty good teams this year on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and they just got manhandled
It just wasn't there this week. Tevin Coleman, huge game. Matt Breida's hurt. Do you think you are going to see him in a lead back capacity, John, or are they going to go right back to the norm of kind of getting Mostert in there and going back to splitting carries? Weird dynamic in this game with Breida getting hurt and them having to adjust on the fly with a week of practices, or short week, albeit. Do you see them going back to more of a 50-50 split with Mostert? I don't think you'll see Breida this week, but who knows? Do you think they go back to a 50-50 thing? Or do you think Tevin Coleman has earned the stud run?
No, I think they're going to go 50-50 because Coleman getting hurt at the beginning of the year. I think they want to keep him the longevity of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To be able to play the whole season.
Yeah, I agree with
And this is Shanahan. Shanahan's never had a solidified one A back.
So what does that tell you as a Tevin Coleman owner you should do right now?
Sell high.
Exactly. That would be my recommendation. His value is not going to be any higher than it is right now, and I bet you could get a James Conner for him, John. And I'd rather have James Conner rest the season.
Okay.
Would you agree, James Conner over Coleman rest of season?
Yeah.
So that's a move I would make right now, and I just don't think Coleman's going to be doing this for the rest of the year.
So Kyle Allen on the Panthers side
Yeah.
finally got tested because remember he kept saying he didn't throw an interception.
I mean, this is the realest. I'm sorry, Patriots. These are the realest MFers on defense in the in the NFL.
Well, Nick Bosa's like just lighting it up.
I mean, these guys are just scary. They're scary.
So Kyle Allen, 19 of 37. He was Oprah Winfrey in this game. You get a pick, and you get a pick. He threw 3 picks.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, is he matchup proof?
He is, but he's going to get hurt. I'm just telling you. He's gonna get.
Yeah, this is actually, he didn't see a lot of
I
carries here.
understand that.
14 carries.
He's taken a lot of hits.
14 carries for 117 yards and a TD, and then he also chipped in 4 receptions for 38 yards. So another good day for McCaffrey.
He had a great day, but I am concerned with his durability.
Okay. On the receiving side, Curtis Samuel, 11 targets, 4 receptions, 46 yards.
Sorry about
DJ Moore, 9 targets, 5 receptions, 38 yards. This game was just bad on the, other than
but
McCaffrey.
this is the DJ Moore floor, so I guess 8 points isn't a bad floor.
No, I'm just saying from a fantasy standpoint. This was a floor game.
I think they need Cam Newton out there, and the fact that he's not out there yet, that's why I'm kind of thinking about is he getting traded? Like, what's going on here?
Or is his injury worse than what they say it was? So,
keep it rolling.
Next game. The Oakland Raiders almost had this game. They actually lost to the Texans 27-24. On the Houston side, Deshaun Watson, 27-39 for 279 yards and 3 TDs. He also carried the ball 3 times for 1 yard. Carlos Hyde, 19 carries for 83 yards. Actually, I apologize about the 3 carries for 1 yard. That was actually Duke Johnson. Deshaun Watson had 10 carries for 46 yards. I apologize. Read the wrong stat line.
Nice job.
On the receiving side, Nook was back. He had 13 targets, 11 receptions for 109. Darren Fells.
Why do they call him that?
Who, Nook?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. I don't know the whole story with that. Fells, 6 targets, 6 receptions, 58 yards, 2 TDs. Do you think that Fells is now one of Watson's favorite targets? Or do you think this is because of Fuller out?
I think that Fells is going to be... He's not a week-to-week starter. I guess you could get worse in terms of a streaming tight end, but I don't think you can put him in there every week and expect double digits.
Well, poor Kiki QT, because he was saying to Deshaun Watson, Deshaun, why don't you love me? Because he had 0 targets.
This is what I thought it was. Nook is a brand of pacifier. So I guess that's why, because it said, some of you may know Texans wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins is the NFL's leader in targets, receptions, receiving yards, and first downs. Hopkins says the nickname came from his mom, who said Nook was the only brand of pacifier he would use. Good to know. Well, Nook is, he's a pacifier for Deshaun Watson, so I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay. On the Oakland side of the ball, Derek Carr, 18 of 30, 285 yards and 3 TDs. He actually had a really good game against the worst pass.
Yeah, he had a great game.
Yep.
They would have won the game had they used Josh Jacobs more, though. That's the bottom line. There is nothing more to it. I look at Gruden as one of those old school, grizzled coaches. You're a rookie, so you can't get a lot of carries. You got to prove yourself. Well, you would have won the game if Josh Jacobs got more carries because dude was electric. And he just didn't get enough work. He gets you 10 points in PPR. That's fine. But his ceiling is so much higher than that. And these idiots in Oakland just don't know how to use him. And they're not willing. And I get it. He was banged up. He had a shoulder injury going in the game. It was game time decision. But he looked great out there, dude. It didn't look like it was bothering him at all.
Speaking of great, I wouldn't even think he had a foot injury. Tyrell Williams, 6 targets, 3 receptions, 91 yards, and a TD.
I think Tyrell Williams an every week start at this point. What better flex option are you going to have than Tyrell Williams every week? I'd like to see the targets a little bit higher for him. But 6 targets isn't bad. And a lot of his targets are deep targets, John.
Well, what changed game script to this game was Mr. Baller Waller had 8 targets, but only had 2 receptions for 11 yards.
This was the other problem in this game. Number one, first reason you lost, John Gruden, in case you were wondering, is you didn't use Josh Jacobs. The second reason you lost is because you kept trying to force it to Darren Waller. Darren Waller's a nice little story, John, but he's not an elite.
But he was also facing a defense that is great against tight ends.
True, and he's not the guy that's capable of... It's almost like the Mark Andrews thing. He's not the focal point of the offense. If you build your offense around Waller or Andrews, you're probably not going to win a ton of games. And that's what they're trying to do, and he's just not that guy. He is an excellent complementary piece. He's a really good tight end. He's just not the focal point of the offense, whereas Jacobs is that guy. And had they utilized Jacobs more, I think it would have opened Waller up a little bit more, and he would have had a much better game. But, you got a touchdown, John. And sometimes that's all that matters.
Hunter Renfrow here, 4 catches for 88 yards and a TD. You buying that?
No.
Neither am I. Okay, we'll move on. So the next game,
I hope it's a thing. I just don't. I'm not buying it.
So the next game was the Cleveland Browns versus New England Patriots. Patriots stay undefeated,
Oh my God.
27-13 here.
What a calamity this game was.
This game was, it was rated bad. It was really wet. It was not as bad.
Once again, though, John, Tom Brady didn't have a stellar game. He threw 2 touchdowns. One of them was thanks mostly in part to Baker Mayfield. He went like this. With the football to a defensive lineman from New England. He basically handed it to him. It was like when Russell Wilson threw the Super Bowl a few years
So
ago.
Brady was 20 of 36, 259, 2 TDs. Sonny Michel, the game was,
But am I right? That's not like 250 yards.
No, that's just like
I mean, I can get 250 yards out of
streaming any quarterback.
Jared Goff. But he got the touchdowns, which really helped his day.
Sonny Michel had 21 carries for 74 yards, but the sad thing is here we did not see any receptions out of the backfield for him.
That's a Sony Michel day, though.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of carries.
Edelman is still the blankie here, 11 targets.
Let me finish. He gets a lot of carries. His efficiency isn't great, but most of the time he'll get you a touchdown or 2. That just didn't happen for Michelle today, or yesterday rather. 3.5 yards a carry is not going to get it done if you're not getting goal line carries, and I mean, he didn't make hay in that category. So.
Yeah, Edelman here, 11 targets, 8 receptions, 78 yards, and 2 TDs. It's good to see that. That'll probably be Edelman's only 2 TDs. I'm just saying because he's not huge on touchdowns. He's 5 targets.
I'm telling you, Edelman's the only guaranteed must start every week. Oh, maybe James White, because James White in PPR gets you 10 points.
Yeah, but take away that 59-yard reception yesterday. His yards were.
I know, dude, but he's still like every week.
Broke off.
One way or another, no matter how he does it, White gets you 10 points.
So James White had 4 receptions for 75 yards, and then Dorsett 3 of 43 after that. Sanu, I expected more.
I did not.
But it was a wet game. 5 targets, 2 receptions, 23 yards.
Yeah, and it's his first game in a very complicated offense. Anybody that expected a lot out of him this week was fooling themselves.
Yeah, so on the Cleveland side, Baker Mayfield, 20 of 31, 194 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. He was not good. Nick Chubb, though, 20 of 131.
They couldn't stop him.
Like I said earlier, Nick Chubb actually played a great game. One of the fumbles, yes, it got punched out. It was his fault. The other one, watch the game. I don't know what the lineman's doing for his foot to be in the air. I was saying he was doing Pilates because he caused the other one. He kicked the ball out of Chubb's arm, and I feel bad for Chubb.
It was just awful.
Yeah, they were like the bad news bears.
Well, didn't Chubb kind of hit his own knee? Like his knee knocked it out on the first one, I feel like.
No, that's when the lineman kicked the ball. It kicked it, and then bounced off his
It was
knee.
like a Three Stooges bit out there. These guys were just not prepared. Obviously, New England was in their head. The weather didn't help. Jarvis Landry, though, man,
Consistent
Mr.
stuff.
Automatic, yeah. He'll give you 10 points. He's like the James White of wide receivers. He's going to give you 10 points every week. Odell Beckham should be getting you more than 10 points. Oh, you know who Odell Beckham is right now? He's Robbie Anderson. That's who Odell Beckham is right now. But he is. He's going to have huge games for you, but other than that, or maybe he's Devontae Parker. Maybe I'll give him an upgrade to Devontae Parker.
No, I think Parker's doing better than him.
But that's who he is this year.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Do you disagree with that?
No, I don't disagree. That's how his stat line is.
I mean, you can't sell high on him, and you can't trade him because you're never going to get the value that you should. I feel bad for anybody. And I told Jake, and I wasn't totally right on this, but I told Jake, I'm like, dude, you need a running back. You need to trade Odell for Mixon. And neither of those guys have worked out very well, but Beckham, DeAndre Hopkins would perform in Cleveland right now. Beckham could perform with Eli Manning, and he can't with Baker. And you look at him, he's handing shoes to Tom Brady right in front of Baker, and Baker's kind of almost like crying. I don't know if you saw that, but look that up. It's just, he's just not a team guy. He's a me guy, and he is a lot like Randy Moss, that when he's not motivated, he
won't play.
What's the word I want to use? He phones it in. That's what he does.
Okay.
He's a bum.
The last game on the slate, Green Bay Packers, who are 7-1, let's point out, play the Kansas City Chiefs. They won this game 31-24. Aaron Rodgers. Looks like Aaron Rodgers.
And you know who you have to thank for that?
Aaron Rodgers?
Me. Because I went out and I traded for Aaron Rodgers when everybody was off on him and everybody was down on him. I went and got him a few weeks ago, and homeboy hasn't looked back since, man. So Aaron Rodgers, him and I, we tight.
Except for that year when
he owes me some money. He owes me some money for rejuvenating his career.
Well, he also...
What are you doing, baby? Go ahead.
I don't know.
John's hitting over.
So Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 33, 305 yards, 3 TDs. Rodgers also had 6 carries for 29 yards. Aaron Jones, 13 carries for 67 yards, but 8 targets, 7 receptions for 159 yards and 2 TDs. He is actually the leading receiver right now for targets.
He's the greatest running back of all time until Jamal Williams has that stat line next week, and he doesn't.
Yep. Jamal Williams, 7 of 22, but he had a TD rushing.
Yeah, Williams is great too.
Williams also had 3 targets, 3 receptions, 14 yards in a TD.
But everybody loses their mind about Aaron Jones, and then the next week it's Jamal Williams that has the better game.
Lazard, 5 of 42, so he's still involved. Just a low, kind of like wide receiver 3.
Lazard isn't a superstar athlete, you know.
Kumaro, 4 targets, 2 receptions, 48 yards. But MVS and Allison, where are you guys? Touted, and they are at the bottom of the list.
All right.
Bottom.
I'm looking at you, Devontae Adams, because I know you watch our show. You need to come back, Devontae. I need you on my team. Look at these clowns. Look at these clowns on your team. None of them can catch a darn pass to save their lives. You are needed. And when you come back, by the way, I have bad news for Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams because your value's going down. Devontae Adams, you need to come back this week. I'm talking to you. Get your butt out there and dominate because you and Aaron Rodgers are going to win me a championship. Right?
Okay. So we'll go Kansas City side.
Right?
Yeah. Mahomes.
Oh, you just admitted that I'm going to win the championship this year.
It ain't going to be me. My guys keep getting hurt. My guys just keep getting hurt in the keeper.
You might have a shot.
I'm going to change my team to the infirmary.
No, you can't change that team name.
I've had that.
I never should have changed my team name.
I've had my team name for what, like 15 years?
Ever since I changed it back, I haven't lost a game.
So maybe, I don't know. I've never changed mine, so I won't. Yeah. Kansas City Chiefs did rule out Mahomes in this one, but it looks like Mahomes is eyeing a week 10 return.
Possible, no wait, week 9. Yeah, it's possible week 9.
Possible week 9, but I will take week 10 still. But Matty Moore here, 24-36, 267 yards and 2 TDs. So they made a good, decent backup here look decent.
I told you, dude. Didn't I tell you we should have got Matty Moore?
Yeah.
I think Carr had a better week.
Carr had a better week.
But Matt Moore didn't really miss a beat, man. He was keeping up with Aaron Rodgers.
This backfield I still stay away from.
Yeah,
LaShawn McCoy, 9 carries for 40 yards. Yeah. But he did have 4 catches for 23 yards. He looks like the back to own there, I would say, but still not a guarantee. Damian Williams, 7 of 30 for a TD, but had nothing on the receiving side.
Yeah.
As it relates to receiving, obviously Tyreek Hill, safe game here, 9 targets, 6 receptions, 76 yards. This was the backup QB.
Yeah.
Kelsey found the end zone.
Yeah, finally got
8 targets, 4 receptions, 63 yards and a TD, and then McCole Hardman, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 55 yards, but another TD for him. So Hardman's been doing pretty consistent here, getting that TD.
All right, is that it?
That's it.
I'm going through some box score exhaustion here. So before we go, guys, we got a couple questions from our friend Austin West at Big Tuna Daddy, to be specific. He had a couple questions for us, John. So we're going to ask him because he's a loyal listener of ours. The first one is, and we didn't touch on it in the Titans game because of this question, is Jonnu Smith trending? Austin thinks Jonnu Smith has to be trending right now. What are your thoughts on him?
All depends on Delaney Walker's situation. But Delaney Walker's not looked good the past 4 weeks.
So let's say, for argument's sake, or to play devil's advocate, that Delaney Walker is out for an extended period of time. Is Jonnu Smith an every week starter at the tight end position?
I'd say yes. But matchup based though.
I look at him in this. I think he's a Fells type of guy. I don't think he's gonna win you any seasons. Not Fells. Who's the guy in Houston? There? Fells. Yeah. You look at me like I had 8 heads. I look at him as a Fells type of tight end. I think, like John said, he's matchup based. I'm not ready to crown him. as the next big thing at the tight end position. He's a matchup based guy. Other question: if you have Tevin Coleman, and the trade deadline is approaching fast, would you trade or keep him? I think you guys know. I kind of touched on it. I would trade him as fast as humanly possible. Just like I told you to trade Stephon Diggs. If you didn't, shame on you, because that's about to blow up in your face. Trade Tevin Coleman now.
His
Trade
value is so high.
Trade him for a James Conner. Trade him for, I mean, if you can get a Chris Carson, I don't know if you can, but if you can, Carson's usage is just so high that he's a much better option. But like I see Connor as, would you trade him for Sony Michel?
Who? Coleman?
Tevin Coleman.
No.
I probably would have Coleman over him.
I'd rather have Coleman based on his receptions.
Yeah. What about over, let's say, who do you think, John? Give me a name.
Todd Gurley?
Todd Gurley? I don't think you're getting Todd Gurley off of him.
No.
What about David Montgomery? Would you trade him for David Montgomery?
At the moment,
I wouldn't.
no.
Okay, so basically we're looking at a James Conner type of guy. I'm trying to think of somebody comparable to James Conner.
Derrick Henry? No, because he doesn't see the receptions.
Yeah, I would probably have Coleman over Henry. Maybe Todd Gurley is a guy. Maybe you could flip Tevin Coleman for Todd Gurley.
Well, think about Todd Gurley's usage. It's been so low.
Lev Bell. Do you think you could flip him for Lev Bell?
Yes.
I think you could. So,
especially with Lev Bell being down so low right
yep.
now.
So Bell's look at those guys' value, that their value's down right now, but they have a good schedule coming up, or there's some good things on the horizon, or their quarterback's coming up. There's a lot of different variables, but I would definitely, I'm in the camp of trading Tevin Coleman, John. It sounds like you are as well.
Well, it's harder in Dynasty, you know that.
Well,
It's something
I'm not
want.
saying our specific scenario. I'm just saying as the listener, we both would agree that right now you need to sell high on Tevin
Yes,
Coleman
especially
rather than to hold on to him.
Yes, and, based on the fact that look at yesterday, 11 carries he put. You know what I'm saying? Look at those monster numbers he put out. Let's say he only touched the ball 20 times yesterday. 20 touches for 4 touchdowns. That's insane.
Yep.
You sell as high as you can get them.
In Austin, if you have Tevin Coleman and there's some guys in your league that might be interested in trading for him, tell us who they have and we'll help you out, man. Just at the show again, and we'll be happy to help you. And we appreciate your participation. So that'll do it for today. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow when we get a little spooky and talk about takes from the dark side. All right, thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.
See ya.